Hi there, everybody. This is Tyler, and I am here with the Gauntlet, playing one of my favorite games in the whole wide world, Worldwide Wrestling. Ooh. And we are playing Gauntlet League Wrestling, which I have my shirt, Gauntlet League Wrestling. You can't see it, but it's there. And we have a huge, beautiful, wonderful roster. And we're going to see some players come in, some players come out. And we're starting our very first session, and we're playing, like I say, with the Gauntlet, which, folks at home, if you enjoy role-playing, if you want to find an awesome supported community that does a ton of games, that puts out a scene, that has so many things going on in it, you should find us. We're at gauntlet-rpg.com, and it is the most fun you're going to find for role-playing. We do online games, 100 sessions or so a month. It's a delight. We've already gone over our safety tools, which I urge you at home, use safety tools. It makes your games better. We have Alliance and Veils. We have an X card on the table. We have our community code of conduct. Like I say, we've already gone over that, so all the players are aware. They're going to be setting up these characters, but I'm going to give a quick description of what our promotion is, because we are the Gauntlet League Wrestling Developmental Tour. This is a tour that's going through some of the smaller towns, some of the school gyms, some of the Rotary Club auditoriums, to see who the next big stars are going to be for Gauntlet League Wrestling. The head of our promotion, the general manager that's traveling with us, is Marge the Mountain McKinley. She was a giant back when she was wrestling, and she's still intimidating as hell. And Marge will have told each of you as you came in, she would have said, look, there's two things I am very concerned about. That's asses in seats and wrestlers doing what I tell them. When I book a match, you follow that. When I tell you wrap it up, you wrap up your promo. You make sure my time's hit. And I will make sure that you are a star. A star, baby. Marge has put together a roster of some folks who have gotten a little long in the tooth, who've wandered further down the road and are making their way back, hoping for one last big run. She's also found folks on the indie circuit who are stars on the rise, but still a little rough around the edges. And in between, she's found good, solid workers who will be able to keep the promotion on stable ground and who are just there, just ready to make their name in professional wrestling. You'll see on our roster sheet in the, I always forget, I can't minimize when I'm running one of these. On our roster sheet in our character keeper, roster summary it is, if you go down to the very bottom of it, you will see that there are a few of the MPWs that we have so far. We have Marge the Mountain McKinley, who's our tour manager. We have a lover boy, Buddy Flowers. We have Tony and Tony Turner, the Turner twins, a brother and sister tag team combo, and Clint Bullwhip Jackson. Those are just the ones I've sort of set us up with as beginning. We will add some as we go, and we have the rest of the roster to kind of play with if we want. As a quick description, Loverboy Buddy is a bit long in the tooth, less of the lover boy that he once was, but is still sort of that kind of vanity heel. Think a Ric Flair or a Playboy Buddy Rose sort, if you know wrestling. The Turner twins are quick high flyers, and Bullwhip is your classic cowboy style wrestler, goes out there, tries to get the heat off of being the nastiest guy in the ring. But we'll add some more as we go, and they're there to kind of give us some feel to the roster, fill up to the roster, and give us some opportunities to have some MPWs to fight. Looking at our characters, why don't we see about introing a few of them? Looks like we have some of them in good shape, and a few that are still working. Feel free to keep working. Why don't we start with you, Chris? We'll start just coming on down the line. Why don't you tell us about your wrestler? Introduce yourself and tell us about your wrestler.
Okay, I'm Chris. I use he/him pronouns, and I'll be playing Dr. Retro, who uses the clown gimmick. He is a babyface, Doc Brown style mad scientist, and his general shtick is like standard mad sciencey type stuff. Funny skits about that, things blowing up on him when they shouldn't, that sort of thing, and also 80s and 90s pop music used for various skits and entrances. His entrance music will switch up almost every show. He defaults to "She Blinded Me with Science" if there's nothing else that fits, but everything else from every other sort of 80s movie soundtrack thing that brings back some sort of strange and whacked out memory or cheesy MTV music video from back in the day, he's going to bring that out, and that's kind of the way he rolls. That's how he gets his cheap pops. That's how he gets his heat going. And classically, his one-loss record is way more in the L column. Like he doesn't win matches. He sometimes almost wins matches, and then things blow up in his face. It's that sort of comedy gimmick. Awesome. If he wins, it's like it's a lightning bolt. Like it's going to be a pop. It's like the Hurricane winning a match back in the day in WWE. Like holy crap, that guy just won a match, and the whole place blows up.
Love Shane Helms. Tell me, first off, is he a face or a heel?
He is a baby face.
Okay. And where is he in his career? Is he one of these veterans, or is he an up and comer?
Well, I think he's been around for a while. Like this sort of gimmick has served him well, kind of around. I would say that he's been in the business probably around a decade now, at least. And the sort of the music thing has come back, has really helped him out, because there's been a huge like revitalization of some of those like old school pop music things that have rolled back in. And he has been kind of marketing that, and marketing a lot of the mad science gimmick merchandise type stuff to kind of make a little bit of extra bank on the side. But he's never really hit it big. He's always been like just a good part of a traveling sideshow. He'll pop a crowd, but he's not going to be your star.
Gotcha. As for Dr. Retro's family, has he got family at home, or is he, is there the mother and father that worry about him? Does he have a wife and kids? What's his family situation?
I think he's got a wife, but the kids are older. I think he's got two kids, but both of them are in their late teens now. Like they're getting ready to go to college, and that part of what this extra tour is for him is like, I'm going to need more money. Like both of these kids are only like a year apart. Both of them are going to be in college at the same time. Like I am doomed to a retirement full of debt unless I really make some bank selling all this junk that I'm pretending are mad science gadgets from my in-ring exploits.
Does the wife support this, or would she rather you'd had a real job and stay at home?
Well, it's sometimes she's supportive, but when like things really start to grind, like it grinds her the most, because she's right there and she's having to deal with everything through the home budget on a day-to-day basis. Like she knows that, I mean, probably getting a real job is probably out of the question for him at this point in his life. Like if he hasn't gotten one by now, but like it grates on her when things start to get really tight, and things are about to start getting really tight.
Excellent. Thank you very, very much, Chris. Next up on my sheet, and we'll go by that. Lowell, introduce yourself. Tell us about your character.
So my name is Lowell, pronouns he, him, and I'm running Stan the Percolator Steiger. So like we've been years in Gauntlet League Wrestling, and we spent a lot of time there back in the old days. And there were many years where I was the champion. I had a gatekeeper. It was all good. It was golden. And then there were some newfound gimmicks started to come in and started to erode. Some kangaroo guy and like a Terminator knockoff, and it was no good. And there was that time when they lost the arena and they had to like go out of like a mall and stuff. But that's when I got picked up by AEW and I got signed and I got up there and I got cut like a month later. Cause like I've been the big hot dog in Gauntlet wrestling for so long. And it was not great. Ended up bouncing around, went over to Japan for a little while, came back, did some hardcore shit that really fucked me up. But I'm back. I'm a veteran. I know I got to pay my dues to get back in. I understand that. How that's going to work here. Meta. I haven't decided face or heel. It will depend on what David takes because I think we should have like a balance of like 3 heels, 2 faces. But anyway, so I took that, and I'm really excited here to be in and doing this.
And this is, that chance for the comeback.
Yeah, it's time for the percolator.
I'm going to ask, is there family at home? I mean, clearly you've been doing this a long
I've been
time.
divorced twice. I'm sure there's a family somewhere, but at least 2 divorces, some kids, some maybe I'm skipping ahead of a couple of things, but I probably do send back money when I can.
Gotcha. And I mean, as a vet, you've been injured many, many times.
Yeah, I have.
Is there like, do you have to have a little daddy's little helper to get back in the ring?
I saw how a bunch of the Gauntlet League people went down that road. Alcohol, drugs, I do not. I mean, I drink, but I'm not drinking anywhere near time for the match because I saw some real shit. And if I see other people doing that shit, I'm gonna slap it out of their hands.
Nice. Okay, cool. I like it, Lowell.
And I got a picture. I got a suede jacket. It's got a fringe. I'm loving that. So that's my character.
Thank you very, very much. I don't have a ton of questions, but I think we will see development as we go. So next up on my sheet, Farron, introduce yourself. Tell us about your character.
Hello, I am the majestic ferret, and like a fey creature, I use whatever pronouns are slung my way. And I am going to be playing the indie darling, Lilith, the first woman of wrestling. And yes, when you introduce her, you have to say the full title. But in the ring, it's just Lilith. And she's been at this gig wrestling for a long time. It started out as a side gig to put money on the table, but when your chances look more lucrative in the ring than behind a cash register, yeah, you kind of go for the thing that's also a bit fun and works out some aggression. And like, if you know it, like she has been in a few of the old leagues. Like she was in Lucha Underground for a few matches because, of course, she's the first woman of wrestling because she broke in intergender matches. And like Lucha Underground did that too. And no, she never fought Sexy Star. No, she never talked to her. No, she does not know anything about that incident because she wasn't there. Just because she's a woman, she doesn't know all the women of wrestling. And yeah, she's like, if you see one time she was on camera on WWE for like half a second when she was helping someone backstage with their intro, and she never got credited for that, but exposure counts, right? So yeah, she's been at this job a while, and now this looks like it's the most lucrative thing in her future.
Excellent. I love it. And I think probably Marge would have been delighted to have a vet like you who could come in. She will be now. You've done the indie circuit a lot. Do you go in for some of that hardcore stuff, or do you keep it?
It's called strong style these days.
Marge's like, I don't like any light tubes in my league. That sort of stuff will get you cut up, and I ain't breathing any of that stuff.
And Lilith will just shrug. If anyone's getting cut in my match, it's going to be controlled. I hit, I don't bleed.
Ooh. And got any family?
Of course, I have a loving husband at home who is named Demetrius, and I have 2 beautiful stepchildren. People always say it's hard to be a stepfather. No one knows the often unsung life of a childless stepmother. Well, not childless, they are mine after all now. But yeah, I went into wrestling because with 2 new mouths on the table to feed after Demetrius and I got serious, well, we needed an extra job and extra food.
How do they feel about the travel you have to do? Is it supportive, or is it like we wish you were home more?
When it was half and half, when I had the job behind the cash register and the job in the ring, it was less stressful, I guess is the correct term. And like there are frays appearing. I'm going on tour again, and like there's always those jobs your wife may have that others look askance at. While it's not nearly as looked down upon as sex work, if your wife makes her living as a manly career as wrestling, well, that's just weird to some folks. And they talk behind my back when I'm not at home a lot.
Does Demetrius handle that well, or is it starting to be something that really he would rather you settle down?
Demetrius never took offense to this. He was a delightful stay-at-home husband as such. My son has started taking offense to this, and I get calls about fights in school way too often these days.
I love it. Absolutely love it. Thank you, Lilith. That was phenomenal. So next down our line, Shane, introduce yourself and tell us about your character.
My name is Shane. I use she and her pronouns, and still working out some character details, but I think that I'm going to be playing Lilith, the first woman of wrestling's manager, Jefferson Inferno. Jefferson, I think, is very new to wrestling. Probably just got picked up because he has a good look, but doesn't actually have any experience or training. So that's why, he's been shoved into the manager role. And doesn't really know what he will turn out to be good at yet, but has like a pretty good look. I think has a bit of a talent for backstage politics as well that might emerge, and is like super excited. This seems like way better than his other like summer job that he was going to take.
Has he always been a wrestling fan, or did he come into wrestling from a different place?
Yeah, I would say like he's never been a huge fan, but when he was in his sort of mid-teens, he was really into WWE. I'm trying to think who would have been the big stars like in the right time frame for that to work. So maybe I'll workshop that later. But yeah, he loved it, but wasn't super into it, and really he's pretty arbitrarily fallen into it now. Maybe Marge saw him working out or something like that, and thought he would pair well with Lilith because for all her experience, she's not the greatest on the mic.
I gotcha. So that makes good sense to me. Say, being able to be that I'll be able to do that mouthpiece for Lilith to be out there shining in the ring. How do you think, I'm going to ask you here, Shane, how do you think Lilith took that? Did Lilith like having a mouthpiece?
Well, I mean, obviously, we'll find out, I guess. But I think that Lilith like has mixed feelings. Like on one level, Lilith certainly is an experienced and savvy enough veteran to see the wisdom in it. But I also think that there's like a level of pride and probably not that thrilled about being jammed together with a completely green nobody who doesn't even know how to do a headlock takeover.
And Lilith, what's the truth here? What do you think about Jackson?
Kayfabe, I think Lilith is vexed. And backstage, she is more than willing to let Jefferson talk shop while she handles family business if there is distress.
Okay. Jefferson, do you think that as part of this manager role, you have also kind of taken over? You said you're kind of good at backstage politics. Are you taking over making sure Lilith's getting the right pushes, getting, is it a real manager job you're seeing for yourself?
Yeah, I think that Jefferson didn't intend that when he came in, and certainly Marge didn't intend that when she invited him in. But now that he's here, maybe he doesn't necessarily fully understand the distinction, but if he's managing Lilith, he's going to manage Lilith. She's going to be well taken care of. I
love it. And looks like he's young. You're talking about being green, and he looks like he's young. About how old you see him?
I reckon he's about like 20, 21.
Oh, so you're really young, especially as I've reached 50 now. That's very young. Is there family? What are your folks thinking about this? What do the parents think of this new career? Or are there parents out there?
Yeah, I think there's parents somewhere, but maybe like not super close. I think his main family is like a pretty serious boyfriend who at first thought this was like a hilarious and amazing and slightly hot, like, new position. But, he's quickly learning that the realities of wrestling and being on the road and things like that are not as exciting and glamorous as he might have hoped.
I'll put you on the spot. What's the boyfriend's name?
Oh, yeah. Carl.
Okay. Is he traveling with you, or does he come visit, or is he stuck having to do a real job back at home?
Yeah, I mean, I think unfortunately he is stuck back at home. I'm not sure where home is exactly, but we talk regularly. Jefferson, has every intention of remaining loyal to Carl, but there are temptations on the road.
Ring rats are a real thing. And I will ask, how long have y'all been together?
Yeah, I think like since just after high school, so a couple of years, 2 or 3 years.
Okay, so really a pretty decently long committed relationship. I mean, in gay years, that's like a decade. So this probably putting a decent amount of strain, because this would be your first tour, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Neat. Excellent. I love it, Shay. Thank you very, very much. And last but definitely not least, David, introduce yourself and tell us about your character.
Hey, my name is David. I use he, him pronouns. I'm going to be playing Goliath, aka Hank Miller from Iowa. But Goliath is from the land of the Philistines. He inexplicably is dressed in Roman or Greek or something armor-ish thing, as he enters the stage, which quickly comes off. It's just the whatever prop is handy that makes him look like an ancient fierce warrior, but he's a giant. He's very, very big. I think like he probably has either some sympathy or relation to the overarching manager that you mentioned earlier, who used to kind of fill a similar role. I don't know if they're actually related, but that would be interesting maybe if they were. But
I think you play with that.
Right now he's a heel, but as a giant, he does whatever creative tells him to do and changes whenever he's told, because he has nowhere else to go. So if that helps you, Lowell, answer your question about what Stan is going to be doing, there you go.
Go ahead.
What else?
So let's how old is he? Has he been on the circuit for a while, or is he fairly new?
I think he has been on the circuit for just a little while. He is just a really, really big, strong person, like just Iowa, born and raised. I think he was a wrestler in college and academics weren't happening. So he took his show on the road and has tried to make something of himself here, but he really doesn't have other options unless he wants to go like try and, do something not wrestling, but that's not what he wants to do.
And I'm, looking at your stat of -1 work, you haven't really quite learned yet how to make the fake and the real wrestling come around there.
No, he's still working on that.
So let's explore here. Do you think Marge is real family, or is she like maybe found family? And what other family do we think Goliath has?
I think that he has like a mother and father in Iowa who don't love that he's doing this. But he's an adult now and he's going to do whatever he wants to do. And he's not going to go back to the farm and work there. That's for sure. So I think that if there is a real relationship, it's probably aunt or something like that. But it might be a found family situation too.
Which do you like better? I mean, I could see either one of them working. I kind of like the idea of you coming off the farm and maybe Marge back in the day made that same trip. But it could also be she saw your talent and your capabilities. It's like, I could make you a star. What are you thinking?
I think real family sounds very interesting.
I do too. Let's mother or father's sister?
Mother's sister.
Love it. And does your mother secretly really admire what you and Marge are doing, or did she really hate that this is happening again?
So I think she really hates that this is happening again, but she's one of those mothers that can't help herself but watch and root,
Mm-hmm.
So she might never tell you to your face, but she has the action figure in a box in her closet.
Perfect. I love it. Thank you, David, very much. So that is our wrestling roster. We're going to go and make some heat. So looking at your playbooks, you're going to see that there are some things to help us build up a little heat here between us. And I'm going to pull up that bit myself. So looking at what we have here, let's start back at the beginning with you, Dr. Retro. You have some heat things there. Why don't you start throwing those out?
I'm trying to flip through all the tabs for.
Oh, I know.
Okay. So I think who's asking me for tips to add something fresh to their act?
I like that. So knowing that Dr. Retro, very much a fan favorite doing theatrical stuff, who feels like that that's something that would help them out?
I need it.
Love it. So Goliath, what is it that you feel like he could teach you?
I need something besides costumes. Like I need something more to this gimmick than just like being big and tossing people and having mismatched costume elements. So I'm hoping that I can learn something about theatrics or props or things like that.
And Dr. Retro, what are you thinking about this giant of a corn-fed man coming in wanting that?
Well, I mean, if only they had come to me before they set the the giant ancient warrior gimmick. Like this dude's got like Frankenstein's monster written all over him, but they won't. But they've set the gimmick now, so I think I think in order to help him get over with the gimmick he's got, I think what I'm doing is just basically trying to give him some slightly more theatrical props and maybe helping set up the entrance stuff. Because setting the mood for the match is really important. And like matching up, like if he's going to be an ancient warrior, like you can't have him coming out to pop music. You got to pick your presentation. So like they've got to set that up. He's managed to get him some like some sort of classical with a little bit of brooding metal, like think like the Conan the Barbarian soundtrack stuff from Basil Polidorus, like that sort of stuff to really set the mood for like ancient warrior coming in to kick everybody's butt.
Excellent.
And like he's really trying to get him away from the prop armor, because honestly that stuff looked really terrible. Especially under the spotlights, like it's really bad.
Cool. All right, let's have you go ahead and do a second. I think we're going to stick with just 3 heat questions per. I think that'll generate us enough heat. So go ahead and give us the second one, Chris. You're muted, my love.
Sorry, I hit the wrong button there. Who thinks I'm a waste of a roster slot?
Ooh.
That's always fun.
Yeah. I
Lilith?
can see both myself and my manager were going for that one.
I can definitely see Stan hating me too. Like that might be too easy though.
So what do we think, Lilith or Jefferson?
I can give my reason, and Jefferson can give his reason, and we can see which of the characters has the reason that Dr. Retro likes the most.
All right, pop us in with a quick one.
Yeah, Lilith is angry that like basically as a white man, you're able to do her job as a joke and be more popular than she has been in 10 years.
I like that. That's interesting. Jefferson, what are you thinking? Why are you not very fond?
Yeah, I mean, I think Jefferson just takes this all quite seriously, like just has no real sense of humor about it, or like is finding it hard to gauge like where the appropriate sense of humor is, like how funny you're supposed to be. But Dr. Retro is definitely what he considers like over the line.
All right. Well, we've heard two good pitches. What do we think?
Those are both really good.
Yeah, what you think, Chris?
Okay, I think I'm gonna try for. I think it's more interesting to have Jefferson be because he's so new. Like having him be so hostile to my pop gimmick feels like it'd be more interesting to explore.
Okay, let's go with that. And you certainly, Lilith, can keep those same anchors just the same. It's just not generating heat at the moment. And your final one, Chris.
Can I just ask a question? Do these go both ways? Do I get one heat with Doc? No. Okay.
No.
So, who was my tag team partner before I found this niche, this little role that seems to fit me?
Anybody want to take that one up, or we could have an MPW if nobody feels like it fits?
I feel like at some point in the past, as paths have crossed, that we have done the tag team thing.
Did you like doing it, Percolator?
No, because it's real hard to do with the comedy gags to judge that shit.
Well, and this might have been like, if I'm reading the question right, you correct me if I'm wrong, Tyler. Like it sounds like this might have been before I really hit on the comedy gag. Like maybe I was still kind of semi-serious, like still probably with some sort of gimmick where me basically theatrically taking bumps was a thing, but probably not quite the sideshow act that that I've become.
Okay. Well, then why don't we play at it then with the idea you are moving towards comedy, and Percolator, you could see that was the direction it's going.
It's not as much fun.
Perfect. I love it. All right. Well, let's switch on over and get some heat out of the Percolator. What you got, Lowell?
Oh, let's start with this is an interesting one. Who's my protege?
Ooh.
Somebody that I've given advice to or like boosted up.
I'll take that. I mean, you've been in this business longer than I have. I will learn from you.
I like it. And maybe was it kind of Percolator? You had to move through a bunch of different leagues over there. Might have been
Yeah,
that Lil
we
spent a
probably
little time in
crossed paths a
Japan.
couple of times.
Oh yeah, I think we definitely saw each other in Japan a few times.
There we go.
Yeah.
So a pretty friendly relationship there. I love that. What's your second one, Lowell?
Oh, who am I keeping out of the spotlight?
Ooh, who do we think?
I mean, I could definitely see Stan sort of trying to shuffle Dr. Retro away because I'm basically shedding what you may consider a bad light on the road tour with my antics.
I can
like
see
that.
that. Okay, all right.
And the last one is who has no respect for my time with the company.
Gotta be me, right?
Oh, I thought so. Yeah, I come in, I talk a big game about the past, and you're like, I don't give a care.
Love it. I love it. All right, let's shift on over then. Next up will be Ferret. Give us some heat.
Okay, I think I'm going to have to start with which one of these is the most dramatic? Oh, let's go for the violent one. Who feels the most threatened by what I bring to the roster?
Anybody could be threatened by the intensity, could be threatened by the experience.
I actually want to take that one.
Okay.
Like Lilith and I are friendly shape, but I'm also afraid that Lilith is the new direction that Gauntlet wrestling is going, and big guys like me and Goliath, old school guys that play the old games, we're going to get fed out to even worse farm team at some point.
Interesting. Okay, love it. Second one, Ferret.
Who thinks I'm completely overrated?
Who do we think?
I mean, I think it would be fun if there was tension between us as well as having to work together. So if you're into it, I would take that. But if you don't want that dynamic with your manager, that also seems reasonable.
I saw David also going for it. So
yeah, I think that Hank thinks if we're really gonna throw down, he could take Lilith. She's all sizzle, no steak.
Ooh. Okay, yeah, I will take that because I'd rather not have an adverse relationship with my manager at the start. I'd like to work towards disliking each other.
That makes sense to me. Excellent.
Yeah.
All right.
And just to clarify again, the heat questions are if you answer a heat question, you write that down with that person, but they don't write down the heat.
Right. They're not reciprocal.
Right.
Yeah. And your final one, Ferret.
Oh, they are so good, but yeah, I need a Stan. Who's excited that I'm finally on the roster?
Who do we think?
I mean, that would make sense for me as well.
That makes sense to me as well.
I mean, it may be a selfish liking that I'm on the roster, but I concur with that. We all have to climb the ladder.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense to me. Excellent. Thank you very much, Ferret. Next up, I believe, is you, Shane. Yes.
Yeah.
Jefferson's heat questions.
So the first one is just who do I manage or accompany to the ring? So obviously that will be Lilith. And then who is trying to undermine me backstage?
Ooh, who do we think?
But I think that would be good for Dr. Retro. Like this new kid, he doesn't know anything, but they brought him in because he's pretty. Like,
And maybe even feeling a little bit of the scorn that Jefferson has.
well, it's tough to tell because these really young kids, like, is it scorn or are they just looking on their phone for something? Like, I don't know.
Perfect. All
It's
right.
those kinds of lines.
And your last one, Jefferson.
Last one is who knows I have their best interests at heart. So seems like Lilith is the logical choice, but if someone else wanted it.
Yeah, there might be someone else who thinks that. Anybody feel like maybe Jefferson, nothing like a stable could be. We find Jefferson managing several wrestlers along the way.
I'm fine taking it. I'm fine leaving it open for others.
Unless anybody wants to take it, then we'll give it to Lilith. Nice to have heat with your client. I will say that. Do keep in mind that you also will automatically get heat with someone who is the opposite of face or heel. And finally, David, let's hear them heat.
Yeah. Who tries the hardest to avoid working with me?
Ooh, a lot of reasons for that potentially.
I will take that. My entire premise is on being tougher than the guys. That is hard to do when your hand can fit over my head.
I like it. So don't like working up against the giant. That makes sense.
Yeah, especially when I'm like not talented enough to like pull off these like, you're manipulating me. Like I'm not good at that yet. So that makes a lot of sense.
That's perfect. Your second one, David?
Who have I hurt unintentionally?
Ooh, that's a good one. Who do we think? Want to take it, Chris?
I could definitely see that happen with Dr. Retro, where like maybe we had a match or something, or a backstage skit thing, and like the ring is kind of safe. Like you've got the mat, like everybody knows where everything is in the ring, but you're doing stuff backstage, like you're throwing somebody through a table backstage or something like that. Everything's not exactly where it's supposed to be all the time. Bad things happen.
Love it.
So.
And Goliath, how'd you feel about hurting Dr. Retro?
I think I felt awful about it. Like it was like just one of those things where as soon as you heave them, you hear the crash and the crunch, and you're like, oh, like I think you even saw his hands like kind of go to his face, like, oh, that's bad.
Love it. Love it. Love it. And your final.
Who's trusted to put on good matches with me?
Ooh, what we think?
I'd like to do it just because we are two big people, and I have enough experience working with people who maybe don't know what they're doing to try and make them work okay.
That seems an excellent choice. What do you think about that, Percolator? Do you mind having that role?
I'm going to bite my tongue because I know that he is related to our manager.
Nice. And Goliath, are you aware that they're putting this bet in there to try and keep you looking good and not hurting anybody?
I don't think they're shy about it. I think it's like, just get in there with the percolator, make it happen a little bit. Don't toss his old bones around too much.
He'll take care of you.
Yeah, he's going to tell you what to do. Just try and stick with that program.
Love it. That is fantastic. I love these relationships. So I think we're here at our first hour. Why don't we take our break and we'll come back and we'll set up some matches. Let's do 10 minutes. See y'all back in just a few. All right, we're back, and our tour has rolled into Asheville, North Carolina for our first show. So home state for you there, Lilith. Gonna ask, is the family coming to see this match?
My son wouldn't miss it for the world. My daughter will, of course, do it because her dad will let her put off homework if she hasn't done it by the time the match starts. And she's a procrastinator just like her mom used to be.
Nice. All right. So we're going to be in Asheville. This is a kind of small hippie town. I don't know if folks know Asheville well, but it's kind of a small hippie town in Appalachian, North Carolina. Beautiful place. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. So I'm going to ask, David, what's the venue look like that they put you in? Where are we going to be wrestling?
It's a rodeo arena.
Ooh.
They built a stage in the middle of the rodeo arena. And I think it's one night of the rodeo. So the rodeo is actually happening as a week-long activity, but this is just one night.
Love it. Oh my gosh, I love it. Chris, what is the big merch that Dr. Retro has laid out at the tables to sell to the fans?
Ooh, so it's Asheville, North Carolina. There's a whole lot of like retro monster movie stuff that can go on here. So I think he's done a lot of like just old school, like the mad sciencey t-shirts that have some sort of like mountain theme. So there's like there's like the laboratory up on the mountain kind of thing, like a Castle Frankenstein sort of deal on one shirt. And then there's another thing where he's got this little like it's a Bigfoot in a lab coat basically. But he's selling it as like as like some sort of mountain thing. That the tricky part about these kind of hometowns is like it's really hard to come up with the stuff that you need to sell in a particular town, because like he can look up Asheville on the internet, but he's not going to get enough about the culture to really come up with something good that will really pop everybody. So he's retooling some of his more generic stuff, maybe reprinting a couple of quick t-shirts, that sort of thing. But he's trying to push the little Bigfoot figures because it's going to be a long time before we get back to the Pacific Northwest or California to really sell those things.
Nice.
And Florida never bought into him as the skunk ape. Like they never worked in Florida. So
excellent. Percolator. North Carolina is known for wrestling. It's one of the big wrestling spots. What happened last time you were in Asheville?
Gosh, that probably would have been on a real small circuit, maybe last year during the pandemic, one of those ones that essentially they've just got a trailer, like a big long rig trailer with and it's one of those like crazy, like clown posse, like lunatic circus promotions, because that's the one we have around where I'm at. And I think I got roped in as like a straight man to the circus of insanity, and did not care for it.
Ooh, was there an incident or did you handle it professionally?
I think there was at one of those points where one of them was talking shit, and I showed them what it means to get really choked out.
I love it. Oh, fantastic. And Jefferson, what is it when you got here that in this, kind of rodeo arena that you went and demanded you and your client get to show that you're truly the stars of this tour?
I mean, I think it must be the dressing room, the actual dressing room, the one that's not right next to the bull stalls.
Ooh, excellent. Got your own trailer that's away from the mess and the stink. Love
Exactly.
it. All right. Well, we're going to be coming in, doing a big show. Marge will get you together. Like, all right. I'm telling you, North Carolina knows wrestling. You're going to have people hot here. Hot, I tell you. We're going to go in. We're going to give them the best damn show they've seen. We're going to go in there. We're going to fight old style. We're going to fight over the top. And we're going to make these podunk hicks love us. Don't call them podunk hicks. They don't like that. Unless you want to make them mad, then call them podunk hicks because they don't like it. My idea for tonight, I'm going to see. I think we're going to have you, Retro, and Lilith. Y'all are going to be match 2. Match 1, Lover Boy. I think I'm going to have you going up against, and he'll pull, Lover Boy's, what? As points over towards one of our other wrestlers, and I think that's going to be pulling from the old roster there. Gonna be Gargoyle Lord. And it's gonna be Beauty and the Beast. You can do it, Lover Boy. You're opening the show. Opening the show. I'm way too big. I don't want to hear it. You're opening the show. Then Goliath Percolator. You're gonna capstone this thing. I want you in the big main event at the end. All right. That's going to be the show. I think we're going to do great. Make me proud. All of you just make me proud. And don't fuck it up. And what we got for our promotion, back at home at Gauntlet City, they've actually managed to get some TV. They're on cable, one of the smaller station sets of cable. But for us, we're being filmed for the internet. They're calling it the Gauntlet Tour, and they're trying to promo it on the, back at home. But it's going to be a little low budget. But we've got a few camera guys running around, and they've made sure you have an announcer who is from the main roster. She came in to do this, and she's not entirely delighted, but she's a pro. Sippy Cups will be doing interviews and announcing for our promo. She is in our NPCs now. So we're going to start off with some promos. Since our first match is going to be Retro and Lilith, why don't we get a promo out of you, Dr. Retro? Do you want to have a package piece where we have video and all of that? Do we want to have an interview? Or are you thinking something different?
Well, Retro loves a good skit. And that's usually where, fully scripted is usually where he's doing his best work. So okay. I think he's definitely going to try and basically cut a promo, but it's going to be a standard scripted promo. And he is going to be seen in a makeshift lab set that they've put together with a folding table with a white cloth draped over it, and a bunch of cheap plastic test tubes on cheap plastic racks, the kind of stuff they throw in the back of the truck and can set up quick.
All right. Are
you
you thinking anybody with you, or is it just you here in this package?
I'm thinking right now that this is going to be just him, and we see you, they see him sort of like, with the full, like, just like you see him in his picture, the full goggles set up, the hair, gone all crazy, and see him basically mixing various things in test tubes. And he is, he finally, like, pours a few different colored liquids together, and it makes another colored liquid. And he, puts a cork on the test tube and shakes it up a little bit, and he glances at it, pops the cork again, and sniffs it, says, I think I figured out the perfect formula for this match with Lilith. You see, and he's looking at the camera, I've taken a little bit of, say, a little bit of the sort of the something biblical. There's a little frankincense in here, and then I've got a little bit of some of the pop cultural phenomenon that is really attached to Lilith. They had the Lilith Fair here locally in North Carolina like a while back. So I've got a little bit of the refreshment, a little bit of the refreshments left over from that I've added in, and then we've added in a special ingredient, a finely ground powder from Jefferson's favorite coffee cup, and we've mixed it all together. And tonight, ladies and gentlemen, I promise you, this little formula here will show you all that the doctor is definitely in here in Nashville.
Nice. Okay, since this is the first time we're doing one, we're going to be rolling a promo here. Worth noting, and I believe that Ferret brought up, we have some momentum to start with. You will see on your character sheets where it comes starting at your audience and your momentum coming off of that. Momentum can be spent. It is your currency in this game. It will rise and fall throughout matches, throughout everything we're doing. You should use it as you go. It is definitely the sort of thing to keep on playing with it. So when we roll a promo, we use look, and that's in our basic moves tab. So Chris, why don't you roll? Oh, by the way, we do have, you'll see our roller on the basic moves tab as well, down under work the audience. And why don't you roll us a look? And momentum can be rolled after the can be used after the roll.
Okay, that is a 7.
Nice. You got them to pay attention, so you're going to get to pick one. May creative book you in a match. This could be, our next session, that sort of thing. Add a stipulation to a relevant match like this one. Gain +1 momentum or gain +1 heat. And again, since we're kind of starting off, heat is how you advance. Once you get to 4 heat, you will then be ready to pop, and that will let you build up and get your XP. So heat is something always good.
So with that in mind, I'm going to take an extra heat with Lilith because I already have 2, so it gets me that much closer.
Very nice. Excellent promo. So we're going to switch over then to Jefferson and Lilith. Promoing for this match ahead. We could give a second for the two of you to discuss what you'd like to do for this promo. And again, we have Sippy there to do an interview, or we could have a package, or we could just have y'all ranting right at the camera.
What do you think, Lilith?
I would love to have some direction from my manager. I will.
I think we should just march.
Go on.
Oh, sorry, go on.
I'll just lovingly do what you tell me.
Well, I think that you're just going to stand there and pose and look amazing as you always do, and we'll talk to Sippy, and we'll just take it from there.
Yeah, I think like just a quick before scene, like when Dr. Retro's promo was airing, I think like Lilith was watching Jefferson put on his makeup and like getting tips to put hers on quickly before the promo.
Fantastic. All right, and I'm just looking through our moves real quick. You have a nice move there, Jefferson, your mouthpiece move, which will be going on. Would you like to read that out for us, since that's going to be coming into effect this time around?
Yeah, so when I speak for my client, they can roll on my stat instead of theirs for any move they would normally make.
Excellent. All right. So Sippy is there. We're kind of we've got the backdrop of the Gauntlet League Wrestling backdrop there as Sippy comes up and says, Lilith, what are you thinking about Dr. Retro? And I've heard he has a secret formula.
So I'm going to reach out and seize the microphone. Say, Sippy Cups, how dare you interrupt Lilith, the first woman of wrestling, on her way to the ring? Don't you know this is what she does? What? I cannot understand this attitude. Secret formula. You know, I've been watching tape. I've been scouting out Dr. Retro. We know that what makes him so dangerous is his mind games. But we have a secret weapon of our own, don't we, Lilith? We have sports psychology. And I know that you, quickly checks his notes, Podunk Hicks probably don't know what that means. But sports psychology means we see through you, Dr. Retro, just like I see through all of you. And that's why Lilith always ends up on top. And I pass the microphone back to Sippy.
Well, you've heard it here, fans. And I think we'll get Lilith. You're going to be rolling with look, but you get to use Jefferson's look stat for it. So
This
a
only
very big
benefits me.
swing. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, manager. So let me add this juicy +2 instead of my nasty -1. Oh, that's a 10.
Bravo. So with the 10, looks like you're going to be picking up. You connect with the audience +1 momentum and pick one from the 7 to 9 list.
Ooh, I think I want the one heat is very juicy, but I think I want to add a stipulation to the match.
Ooh, what's the stipulation?
No count out. Pins only, and you can do a submission hold until the ref pulls you off.
Ooh, pins only. Very nice. Ooh, goodness. All right. So we've got a stipulation in there. Has to be a pin in the ring. Nice.
And I think my dear manager hit cheap heat, did he not?
I believe
He certainly
so.
did. He took his momentum.
Excellent. Fantastic. And so back inside the ring, we see Loverboy going up against Gargoyle, and they put on, it would be a clinic, but a very, very cheap clinic. It is not the most exciting match that's ever happened, as both of them, Loverboy no longer able to do much high flying, and Gargoyle always been more of a brawler. The fans, they're with them, but you're coming in, it's not exactly hot. So there is going to be the announcements, but first we should have a table of announcers. And since Percolator and Goliath, y'all are not in this match, why don't we have the two of you do our announcing team? Announcing team will be able to do commentary during the match, and also will be able to put a wrestler over, meaning that they can choose to say we put them over, and that will take a level up of a success. So from a fail to a mid, from a mid to a high. And I like to give that to each announcer. So each of you will have one. David, who's the announcer at the table?
It's one of the locals who is mostly involved in the rodeo. So I'm trying to think what's a good like bull rider name. Let's see this. I'm just gonna Google bull rider names. Cooper Davis.
Oh, that's good. And Lowell, are you the percolator, or are you a different announcer?
No, I think I am going to be the put upon announcer guy that goes from show to show. There are a couple of us, but this is just Bob Dobslaw. And Bob Dobslaw is very excited to have you here. So can you tell me, like, how long does this rodeo last for?
This is a 7-day rodeo. We do this every year.
So
In
this
good
is
years,
not
we do
your
it twice
first
a year.
rodeo, right?
This is not my first rodeo, not one bit. But I gotta say, this is my first time at a rodeo with people bucking other people, though. Look at them go.
Great. Looking forward to this a lot.
Excellent.
Bob, is this your first rodeo?
It is, in fact, my first rodeo.
Woo-wee. We got to get you in there for some mutton busting. If you haven't seen it, it's fantastic. Strap a young one to a sheep, let him go.
Absolutely. And again, you can come down to the fairgrounds off I-97. If you come tomorrow between 10 and 11, there'll be free ice cream for the first 20 kids. So there you go.
Lovely. I think that our first entry will be from you, Dr. Retro. What's it look like? Now, they brought a little some, to try and give you a little shine. What's it look like when you make your entrance?
Well, his standard entrance is silly and comical, and because we're fresh in this new town, like he hasn't really hit him with She Blinded Me with Science yet, so that's going to be the entrance theme for tonight. And he's got a smoke machine out, but part of the entrance is that the smoke machine starts to malfunction, and he goes up and tries to like fix it, and then it suddenly just blows up right in his face. So by the time he gets to the ring, like he's got like a smudged face, like just like out of a cartoon, but he's still got the secret formula vial like noticeably in his lab coat pocket, as he clambers into the ring a little clumsily, coughing out a little bit of dust and smoke, and sort of trying to dust himself off and shake out his lab coat as he hangs it noticeably with the vial of secret formula, easily accessible by any dastardly underhanded manager type that might be at ringside. It's hanging right there on the ring post. So,
nice. Excellent.
Would I be able to work the audience a little with that with my antics coming in?
Yeah, let's get a work the audience in then. So working the audience, you're going to be rolling with your audience roll.
All right, my audience begins and ends at +2. So let's see if this works. First, I have to learn to type.
Woo-hoo!
That is an 11. Holy, wow.
Very nice. They are all about this. The crowd is cheering. And they've noticed your prop there, and they are cheering about it being on there. They pointed. They're excited to see what you're doing, and so it looks like you're going to get 2 momentum out of that. Excellent.
Got some
right.
sharp-eyed folks in the crowd here tonight, Bob. I don't know if you noticed. I sure did, just like all of them. Look at what they're pointing at. He's setting up something.
Dr. Retro is known for some underhanded tactics. Just be aware of that if you haven't seen Gauntlet League Wrestling. Oof. Oof. He's a heel.
Actually, he's a face, isn't
He's
he?
a face. Let me check my notes. I mean, most of the time when Dr. Retro does these things, it's for the greater good.
Love it. Love Bob. All right. The lights kind of drop. The spotlight hits the top of the ramp. Lilith, what's it look like when you make your entrance?
I have to ask my manager, do you walk to the ring with me?
I mean, if you'll have me, I would definitely come down to the ring with you.
Yeah.
Gesturing, pointing, hyping you up, slapping away the hands of any fans who might be so disrespectful as to reach out and try and touch you or something like that.
Yeah, and Lilith's song is something she got in her one of her stints over in Japan of Puroresu. The singer Miyavi is a big wrestling fan and signed a contract with her, thinking she would never make it a league to use his song. So she has this semi-popular song to introduce her, and she strikes poses at every proper part as has been taught to her, and at the I think like at the ring itself, she will let Jefferson, of course, like hold the ropes open for her as she just like steps in and like has and then will toss this luxurious black mink coat at Jefferson to hold, and she will just look around.
And we saw Jefferson kind of keeping the fans away from her. You playing to that?
Oh yeah, I think since my kids aren't in this part, like she will definitely like she would break kayfabe for the kids, but since they're not, they know it well enough to not be in this section, and
feel like that's a little
I think like
cheeky?
she would like reach out to like offer pictures to fans and then just let it drop after their hands were smacked away.
Love it. That seems like some cheat heat. Why don't you go and pick up a momentum for that?
Oh, and I also have to roll a move when I first make my entrance.
Ooh, all right, an entry move. Why don't you read it off real quick and roll that?
Yeah, let me get to it. It is reputation. When you appear on camera for the first time in an episode, roll plus real. Then on a 10 plus for a 7 to 9, I get benefits, and hopefully there will not be a miss.
All right. So rolling real, you have a 1.
And I will bump that up with that new momentum from the cheap heat to a 10.
Keep in mind, you can have you already rolled? You can use it after you do.
I did roll.
Okay.
Yeah, so that'll push it to a 10.
Very nice. So on a 10, they've all heard of you. Gain momentum equal to what you started the episode with.
Yep. Yay.
Nice. And so the two of you with Jefferson on the outside of the ring, kind of squaring off. And since this is our first match, we have our match moves down there in a tab, which tells us what we're doing. We use our different stats to do different cool moves. And I got to say, I think, Lilith, you're starting in control of the match.
Yeah, I think like Lilith has handed off the coat. She is sizing Dr. Retro up. I think there's like this. I think she's like predatorily circling around him, like just walking as the match starts. Like she's in control, and she'll let him run at her, and then like just do a quick dodge and like body check him and like push him back a bit. And he'll come in for another punch. She'll do the lean back headbutt, like just kind of like tricks that are dirty but like timed so they're counters. And then I think like he gets close, gets like a gut punch to her, and she'll bend over, he'll grab her head, and she'll stomp on his foot and push him into the ropes. And as he runs past her, she'll grab his head and bulldog him as her first big move.
Ooh, love it. Love it. You think this feels like you're working? Is it technical? Or have you been playing up the look aspect of you kind of dodging around it? What are you thinking?
I think this is work because I have to like know when to dodge, technically, like when to strike back.
Okay.
And that is Snake Eyes.
Oh, that ain't good. All right. You're going to give one momentum to your opponents. You are immediately taking control of the match there, the good doctor. And what does it look like? How did you counter that bulldog? You are muted, my love.
I think what happened is the doctor was comically overselling some of the other moves, as he is apt to do, because like his shtick is he's not that great of a wrestler. Like he's, fist fights, slap fights, wrestling. He's not going to be good at that. So like he was like and staggering around. So when he came off the ropes and she went for what would have been a perfect bulldog, like he staggered the wrong way. And she basically just leapt up to grab his head, and his head wasn't there, and she went down. And he of course did like a almost Ric Flairish fall on the other side of the ring, like face planted over there. And then they're sort of like both of them sort of get back up to their feet.
Hank, what you got to say about that? Have you seen something like that before? David?
Oh man, did you see the dirt rise up off of the floor when they came down on that mat?
Yeah, there's a thin cloud of it all over the stadium tonight, especially after that hit.
Well, Retro, how you taking control of the match? You must have gotten kind of staggered up to your feet first.
Yeah, I think Retro sort of gets up and he like sees that she's sort of out of sorts after missing the bulldog, but she's back up on her feet too. So he charges in and he just basically does a shoulder block to sort of check her into the corner, and he basically sort of starts to lock up in the corner, lets the ref do the break. Lilith tries to do a cheap shot kick and hits, and she tries to go in and do like just a series of like knees and like forearms, and it's sort of he just sort of rocks back and sort of staggers back into the other corner, and then she charges in. He manages to duck out of the way. She hits the corner but catches herself so that it's not, and she like springs back out of the corner trying to catch him. And at that point, he has basically staggered back off the ropes and is coming back, and manages to catch her with just a rolling elbow off the ropes. And it's a flying thing, so basically they both go down, and the doctor just sort of rolls over to another corner and looks a little stunned that that went as well as it did.
All right, feel like that was your move going in?
Yeah, I think that's it. And
all right,
this seems like it's more of a. It seems like it's probably a work. Like you had to coordinate all of that nonsense.
I feel like it too. So rolling with work, you got 0 on it, but that's better than some.
It's better than what it was if I hadn't put that point into it. That is a 6, but I have a momentum that I will spend immediately that I just got back.
So, excellent. Taking it on up to a 7. So looks like you're going to you hit pretty well. You could pick one, retain control and transition to another sequence, or you can give your opponent control and take a momentum.
I think I'm going to take momentum and like trade back control. Like it's not good for the doctor to stay in control. Like it's better for him to be the receiving end of the show rather than the dispensing end of the show. So
all righty, Jefferson, what are you doing outside of the ring there while this is going on? So far, we've seen a lot of back and forth.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm cheering for Lilith, hyping her up, identifying opportunities, things like that. But the big bit of shtick that I'm doing is when we arrived, Lilith, the first woman of wrestling, threw me her fur coat, and I've been like edging towards where Dr. Retro hung his coat, so I can hang up Lilith right by it, and perhaps sneak that little vial of secret weapon out of the coat. And every time I get close, the referee turns around. So I haven't made it yet. But each time that, I get a little bit closer, the crowd calls for the ref, they keep interrupting. But I'm going to get to that secret weapon somehow if it kills me.
I feel like you're working the audience. You're playing
Oh.
up on that. Yeah. So working the audience. Once again, we'll be rolling there with audience. So whatever your audience score is.
Right. That's just one. So let's see.
Woo!
Oh, it's an 11.
Fantastic. Oh, they're on your side, but what does that look? You're going to get 2 momentum, but what's that look like? Are they like warning Retro? Are they egging you on, or what's it look like from the crowd as you're doing this?
Like before I started, I thought this was such a ridiculous bit that it was never going to work. And I am shocked to realize how genuinely enraged the fans in the front row are as they desperately call out for the ref, Dr. Retro, maybe even Marge. Like they want anyone to get in the way of this slimy young idiot who is trying to steal Dr. Retro's gimmick. But yeah, they really want Dr. Retro to beat my ass, I think.
Hank, what you got to say about that, my friend?
Bob, you see it there. The crowd's been watching it the whole time, ever since that doctor fella came in. He threw his coat up there, and now that sharp-dressed feller, he's getting over it. He's got it. The ref doesn't see it. The crowd sees it. What do you say, Bob?
I don't know. From this angle, I can't tell exactly what's going on over there.
Oh, come on, Bob.
Looks
come
like
on.
a pretty
It's
fair
right there.
matchup to me right this second.
It's
Love
all
it.
over there.
Love
really?
it.
No, I just not seeing it.
All right, Lilith, First Lady of Wrestling. What are you doing now that you've got control again?
Yeah, I think there is this time where she shakes herself off. If she gets up, I think Dr. Retro comes charging in for a spear, but she jumps back just enough to like grab him so he doesn't connect with her midsection, and she picks him up, and I think it's like a lot, like just a very quick, fast suplex that just it couldn't have done any real damage because it was just so fast, and she breaks away a bit to get some space, starts like crawling up one of the turnbuckles in the side as she jumps into a Stenton or something, and the good doctor rolls out of the way just as she lands, so she takes a big hit, and she's looking pain. She's selling it, and Dr. Retro, if I may, like has this like look of confusion on his face, like he was always told to help women in trouble, and like offers a hand up to help her, and like she gets up and like slaps him for it, and this is what he's good at, so he slaps her back, and she looks stunned, and she slaps him again, and he uses his other hand, and he slaps her, and then she just reels back this backhand and floors him onto the ground. And I think this literal slap fight is me working the audience by being a badass. If that's okay with you, Tyler.
Absolutely. Yeah, let's do a work the audience here. Rolling with your audience.
What is happening down there now, Bob? I don't understand.
Ugly. You get 2 powerhouses like that, just smacking. Each one of those blows would fell a normal man or woman or NB. It would floor anybody. You just don't want to get in the way of that.
That's how we get the bulls to kick.
They're kicking tonight.
Did I see an 11 there?
You did.
Fantastic. Roller is loving y'all, and you're getting 2 momentum, and the audience is hot. They are so worked up over this back and forth, and you, having worked the audience, though, will lose the control as Dr. Retro. You took a hell of a backhand, and Lilith is stalking the ring, getting the audience up. So what are you doing?
I think Retro like took that backhand and like sold it like people used to sell Bradshaw's lariat. Like he went inside out, just upside down, head over heels, flat face planted down on the mat after that. And I think Lilith is basically kind of basking in that sort of that really serious heat from the crowd, and is sort of like, motioning to them at ringside, like, displaying the muscle, showing the fist.
Mm-hmm.
And the doctor clambers up into the corner slowly and is like just sort of shaking his head and looking kind of googly eyed. And then he turns around and he notices that Lilith is not paying all that much attention, and I think he sort of decides to do another charge at her. Lilith sees him coming, dodges out of the way and just sort of whips him over the top rope to go out. He catches himself on the rope. Doesn't do a skin the cat thing. He's not that agile. He's not luchadoring this, but he catches himself on the rope. He flails a bit on the outside and manages to get his other hand back on the rope. And Lilith sees that, comes over to take a shot at him and kick him off the ring. He takes one shot in the head, another shot in the head, staggers back and forth, and when she goes for a spinning backhand, but his sway takes him just out of reach of that one, and he swings back in and accidentally headbutts her as she spins back around, and then he sort of staggers around on there a little bit more as she comes charging back, and she tries to shoulder check him off the ropes, like between the second and middle rope, second and top rope. She tries to shoulder block him off the apron, and he manages to see her coming and just sort of manages to clamber over the top rope, and it's messy looking. Like, it doesn't look like he's flipping. This isn't pretty. The doctor is not pretty.
Mm-hmm.
And he rolls back over and does like this modified like sunset flip schoolboy thing, and is like clambering his feet like to try to get the pin. Obviously it's not going to happen, but like he really looks like he's really trying to hold her down as she easily kicks him off.
All right, well, let's get a roll then in. Does this sound like work, or is this look?
I'm thinking this is probably look for the doctor. Like, this is his shtick. Like,
makes sense to me.
Like, this is him being kind of ridiculous, but managing to make it work. So,
Bob, he looks like he's been rattled a little bit. It's like the time I got thrown off a boss hoss.
Can I ask for a clarification there, Hank? What exactly is a boss hoss?
Boss hoss, they still got him down there. That's the thing that bucks, and we, it's rattling our mics every so often.
Okay. Well, yeah. Something's happening up in the ring.
How'd you do, Retro?
I rolled a 9 total. I'm going to spend a momentum to make that a 10.
Excellent. So with a 10, you're going to retain control, and you can pick either 2 momentum or 1 heat.
I'm getting 1 heat.
You should, because this is when the ref has moved over towards y'all and has whispered down there, Lilith, you're supposed to take the win. Let's start wrapping this thing up. So Retro, you still have control. You know what the booking is. What you doing?
Oh, let's see here.
You going for the potion?
I think I need to, because there's got to be like the ridiculous payoff that obviously has to blow up in my face, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like people want to see it work, but it's really not going to. I think.
Can I suggest something?
Oh yes.
If it's good for you, so I've stolen your vial of mysterious ingredient, and I think that maybe at some point, like I've been, outside the ring trying to work out what it does. Is it good? Is it bad? Do I want to like throw it at Lilith? Do I want to throw it at you? Opening it up, sniffing it. But at some point, like because the ref turned around too quickly or someone bumped me or something, I've like not swallowed it, but it's in my mouth now, and I'm like, my cheeks are bulging. I can't cheer for my wrestler anymore. But as you like come over to like try and get your gimmick, I could like mist it into your face, like Muda style.
I love it, and it comes off like you just like you're sitting there like it's too spicy or something, and then finally just as Retro is like leaning down, you're like, right. And
Love it.
It comes out like it was designed to be basically one of those classic mists. It's got to be a crazy color though, like bright yellow or like neon orange or something.
Love it.
And
I love the neon orange mist.
He stumbles back like he's really going, like he's really like out of sorts, and can't see, and he's like rubbing his eyes, and he like staggers around, and he turns back around, and like Lilith just takes his freaking head off with a clothesline. Just
all right. I'm going to say, first off, let's have Jefferson roll the mill ticket roll, since this seems to be interfering on the client's behalf to help them win the match.
So this is just like a straight 2d6 roll. I don't modify it with anything. That's right.
Correct.
Cool.
Bob, what's happening down there?
Oh yeah.
This can't be fair. It just Hoss, calm down. Hoss.
I rolled an 11.
Excellent. So with the 10 plus, you pull it off, and they're going to get the win. We'll come back. I'll let you, Ferret, get your finisher off. And to let us see what it looks like. Choose whether you gain one audience or your client does, Jefferson.
Look, I think that at the start of this match, it was definitely Jefferson's like intent that he would be more focused on getting Lilith over than himself. But now that these fans are like right here, like screaming at him so mad, so angry, he's really feeling it, and he is going to keep that audience for himself.
Ooh,
you're right. I now I'm seeing it. It looks like that shyster, awful, horrible manager has gotten in the way, has turned the tide. I don't know if Dr. Retro can save himself when it's 2-on-1.
Lilith.
Not with that mist in his face. Not a chance.
Lilith, your finisher. We know you're going to win. Your manager has kind of handed it to you, but at the same time, seems like your manager's taking a little bit of that audience, a little bit of the steam here. What's it look like as you finish off this match?
Yeah, Lilith, I think whips Dr. Retro into the ropes. He will blindly run at her, and she will flip him over, and he will like catch on her back. And her finisher against the gents is the I think it's the King Killer, and it is a gory bomb.
Ooh.
And it is a modified one, as when she flips backwards and slams them face first to the mat, she rolls over their back and stands up where her feet are like again on each side of their head, and she will twist, which is just for show, but it looks like she's attacking the neck as well.
All right, let's have you roll that finisher. That's a straight 2d6, but you can, of course, use your momentum.
Let's do this. Ooh, the dice did not like me, but I have enough momentum to push that. Oh, well, unless someone wants to put me over.
what we hearing? Does the
Yeah, I think I will. I just it's a tragedy. Oh, I can't even look at this evil team doing this to poor Dr. Retro. Just look away. Look away.
I can't look away. It's horrible.
So you have been put over to the 7 to 9 spot. With a 7 to 9, you have the oops, I popped my thing over to the wrong thing. There we go. On a 7 to 9 for you, it is there we are. Go ahead and read off. Yes.
They sandbag you. You still win, but choose. You gain +1 heat with each other, or you punish them with an injury. And before I decide, I ask creative, since Dr. Retro already has 4 heat with me, and someone
only
do
has
you
3.
have then yeah, let's choose that. Let's get heat with each other. As I think she has to, like, the mist has screwed her over, as they had this very tested out, and now he's slick, and she's like having to like struggle to grab his head and just like lets it go a bit too early for it to like show off to the fans. So it's like a really quick finisher.
All right. So both of you picking up the heat. Did you both get to 4? You did, Retro. You may take your audience up by 1. And we get the count. 1, 2, 3. It wasn't pretty, but it was a win for the first woman of wrestling.
Yeah, I think like the one thing she will do is she will not take Jefferson's help out of the ring, but she will go up to the announcer's table and just look at the what guy who called her manager a shyster. And I think it's the first time anyone's heard her speak this episode, and she just looks at us like, "What you say about him, you say about me. So next time, say it in the ring."
Oof.
Is that a thing, Bob? Do we get called into the ring sometimes?
If we're not careful, anything can happen, Hank.
And with that, we get the broadcast brought to a pause as we're going to take our second break. Why don't we take 8 minutes? We'll come back at 20 till the hour. All right, we're back. And so we have finished that match, and out into the ring comes Bullwhip, who's going to do a bit of a promo in the ring, and he's got his whip out there, and he's lambasting away at the roster and how nobody could be able to beat him. Meanwhile, backstage, Percolator.
Yep.
You're up for your next match. How would you like to do a promo?
I think it's an interview, but I think there's a little bit of kind of a setup where maybe Sippy finds me standing in a doorway looking out at the dark night there in my jacket, and oh, hey Sippy, how you doing?
Mr. Steiger, you have a match against a big guy. How you doing?
Well, and I grabbed the mic from her. So I'd just like to say here on this night here, this is a battle of the Titans, the old school versus a new kind of myth. It's appropriate here as we are the outside of the old gods of Appalachia watch over us. But these are the new gods of Appalachia fighting in the ring tonight. We're going to bring that struggle to bear. And I'm here for each and every audience member to defend what's right from the likes of Goliath. I will be that David tonight.
She will take back the mic. Thank you, Percolator. And thank you from all of us. Let's roll that promo.
Yeah, let me roll a 2d6. And that's with luck, right?
Luck. Yep.
Okay. Roll 2d6. I'll spend one of my 2 momentum to take that to a 7.
Very good. Did you need 2 or just 1?
I have 2 momentum because I'm starting a match,
one of
so I
your
get
2.
another one.
Gotcha.
I'll spend that. So I'll have 1 left. And I'll take that to a 7, and I'll increase my heat. Gotta get that heat going.
Absolutely.
Bake it on up.
Absolutely. All right. Goliath. Back in the back. How are we getting a promo out of Goliath?
I think it's tough. He doesn't have a good voice for promos and things. They're usually just more physical. That works with his heel. It's tougher if they ever consider turning him face. He has like no presence.
We have a package, or is it an interview? What do we think?
No, I think it's probably a package, because I don't think he could do it. I don't think he can do good interviews. I think they just have like different people, different like several people that are like coming up and trying to like challenge him, and he just like grunts and roars, and they come running at him while he's in his like, you know, under some better lighting. He's in his costume, and they're coming at him, and they edit out any shots where you see the armor look a little too rubbery, so that way it looks solid. And
do you think they like, got the rodeo ring with nobody in there so it looks gladiatorial?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It was like in the nighttime they like turned on all of the overhead lights before they put the stage up, so that way he's like standing in the dirt. And I even think they got some footage of bulls and stuff and horses like running around. They're not actually there, but they cut it in so it looks like they are. And then like they have the people running at him, and he's just like grabbing them and just like throwing them. And then they show like footage of like somebody being thrown off a bull, but it's meant to look like he has done that kind of a toss to somebody. And it's this whole thing. And like because it's footage of the rodeo, like people recognize, you know, they're like rodeo personalities. So that's how it's trying to like play to this audience. Nice. And the people who are like in the shots with him are like wearing the same clothes, so that way you like might mistake them. But that's the play here.
Excellent. All righty. So rolling with the look.
Yeah. Okay. How do I do this? I got 2. Roll. Okay, 5 and a 1 is 6. And look for me is I've lost my place.
It's a 1. You got a 1 look.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
We got a 7. We did it.
Yes, you did. All right. So you're going to get a choice here of make creative, book you in a match, add a stipulation, gain 1 momentum, or gain 1 heat.
Let's take the momentum.
All right, taking the mo. All right. So we have this great package that plays across it. People are buying in. They've got a little bit of that. Hey, did I see that guy get thrown last week? Well, but clearly it was right then. So people are hot for it. As we get the intro, I think, Stan, we're getting you entrance first.
That seems fine. It's time for the percolator. It's time for the percolator. That music comes on. And I come out, and I've got in my arms this big slobbering bulldog, and it is licking my face, and I'm coming down, and like I've got it with me, and I hand it off to somebody at the side, and I go, "Let me hear those Asheville Bulldogs!"
Woo! Take that cheap heat.
And then I will climb up on the stage, and I'll start taking off my jacket.
Fantastic. The crowd is roaring. Goliath, what's the intro look like for you? And you got to think Auntie's willing to spend a little money to make sure you've got all the things you need.
Oh man, I think it's like a mockery of the Percolator's intro. He's got a bulldog like effigy, like a piñata, and he comes out and he's like holding it above his head, and everybody's like, "No, don't do it." He's like, "I'm gonna do it."
Oh, no. I'm at the ropes. No.
Yeah. And I think he just takes it and he just throws it into the crowd, and everybo's like, "Oh, it's obviously piñata."
They're screaming. They're so mad. What's the song though, Goliath? What are we hearing?
I don't think like anything is played until that point, and then it's like the Darth Vader song is like the only thing they could muster.
Imperial March as you come down. Nice.
He's got a red cape on. And when he gets to the ring, he like unchains it. It's got a chain across the front and like folds it.
Nice. I think you got some cheap heat off of the throwing into the crowd. So take a momentum for that. Let's put on the table, the announcer table. Let's do Shane and Ferret for this. Let's do those two. Ferret, who are you on the table?
I am Lilith's old tag team partner from Eden, North Carolina, who got this chicken poop gig as an announcer as a favor from Lilith.
Oh, I like it.
She's like the great Moolah, basically.
The
local one.
Lovely. All right. And Shane, who are you on the announce table?
Well, I think Jefferson's come down to like scout out this young Goliath. Sees a lot in him.
I like
could
it.
be a good addition to I don't know, Lilith's brood. I'm not sure what the stable could be called.
Oh, or the could be like the Inferno stable, I suppose. But all right.
I have to recruit at least one more person before I figure out a stable name, I think.
All right. So the two of you on the table, Ferret, what are you saying as you see these two titans in the ring?
I think she's on the mic, but all you hear or all the audience hears is a lighter being flicked over and over and over, and then it finally lights. There's the mics are so good you even hear the paper burning a little bit as she inhales. Man, wrestling always changes, but the looks are always good. Welcome, ladies and gents, and everyone in between, to this wonderful event. Hey, didn't I see you by the ring drinking like a Pepsi Crystal or something in that match?
Jefferson, how do you respond?
I thought this would be a no smoking venue. I know I can't get cheap heat, but I think like something about, listen, all of the smokers in this venue disgust me. I wish you'd put that foul thing away. I'm just here purely business, nothing but business. This, you are.
And I think you even get a little pop from that statement because North Carolina is the tobacco capital of the United States, as they boo a little about the anti-smoking statement.
Yeah, there's like a corporate sponsor from a tobacco company.
I think I'm gonna call her Penelope, or like her real name. She just puts it to her lips and inhales the entire rest of it in one go. This wonderful rodeo mat is brought to you by the wonderful people at Pall Mall.
Look, my dad's done some legal work for Pall Mall, but the actual cigarettes, the smoking, that is disgusting.
The crowd is hot all over, as I think, for safety's sake, Percolator, you started control of this match.
I think it is that I kind of stride out so we can do that kind of face down. And I know I'm a tall guy, like a big guy, like Diesel kind of build. But what I do is like I know to like slump myself a little to like make sure that the giant is bigger than me, and I kind of come out, and then get ready, and then I think I'm just grabbing him and working him. I'll take a hold of the arm, like get him in that, and just try to more grab and arm bar and bring him down to his knees. And are you selling that? You think, Goliath?
So I think one of his things is he has to come out and stand perfectly straight, so that way he looks as tall as he can, and that's really hard for him because he's used to a wrestling stance. Yeah. But he's really been working on it, and he kind of half closes his eyes just so he doesn't see you coming, and you get him, and it works because his eyes are half closed, he doesn't see it coming.
All right,
get control of that, move him and then kind of drive him towards the ropes. Throw him into that, try to use his weight against him, and then I kind of come up and I'm trying to drop him to the mat, try to get that good sound as I drop him with that. So I'm really doing the work to get that good hit to transition.
Nice. All right. Well, let's see a work on this then.
Okay. Oh, so that is an 11 from the Percolator.
Woohoo! All right. So you're going to retain control, and you can either get 2 momentum or pick up a heat. Oh, sweet heat.
Oh, let's take that sweet heat.
Yes.
I'm going to regret that later.
Mm-hmm. All right. So you brought him down. You managed to do that kind of flip out of the rope and down on the mat. What you going to?
Then what I do is I hand control off to him. I want to let the kid. I say, take this next segment. Let's see what you do.
Are you going to work the crowd to do it, or are you just taking the momentum to hand off?
Oh yeah, I that's a good idea. I think I could get him down there, and I'm like, yeah, that's for the Bulldogs.
There we go.
Stand up, shake my hands, turn my back on him.
Work the audience in. Roll that audience.
Okay. So I have an audience of 2.
That's a good roll.
Ooh. Audience not digging it.
Down at the table, we've got the face trying to work this audience up. They feel like now's the time to put somebody over.
Do you want to be put over, Mr. Percolator?
I wouldn't mind getting put over on this one. I may regret that later, but I'd like to have the audience, at least for this first little bit. Can you help me out, Penelope?
Penelope just takes a smaller puff on her Pall Mall Slim, the second cigarette for dessert, and just grins so wide that she might as well be Dr. Retro's manager. Now that's a form I haven't seen in years. Classic physique, classic moves, classic intimidation. You see that, Mr. Flash in the Inferno? That's how you keep control. That's how you be dynamic. That's how you be a man.
Nice. All right, you get to pick one. You can retain, or I'm sorry, you get the choice of 1 momentum or continue with control. But you were wanting to hand off, weren't you?
Yeah, I'll hand off, so I'll take that momentum.
All right. Goliath, you've gotten control back. You see that the Percolator is kind of playing to the crowd, what you doing?
Yeah, so it's all part of the plan. Get thumped onto the mat, throws the dirt up, and then out of the misty, dirt, the Goliath looms, standing straight as he can. Not a good idea, but it's part of the gimmick. He comes over, and as the percolator's like getting the crowd into it, he grabs him from behind and just shuffles him over his shoulder,
Mm-hmm.
and is like spinning him around in the middle of the ring.
Ooh, like an airplane spin on the shoulder. Oh,
Yeah.
That sounds like power to me.
Yeah, I think that's probably right. Yikes.
Ooh, big old 10. You do great. You retain control, and you can choose either 2 momentum or gain a heat.
He also gains an audience from
is that
his
right?
move, one of the biggest athletes in the world.
Oh, that's right. Off of your wrestler moves.
That's right.
Nice.
Yep, gain an audience. All right, so we gain an audience. All right, and you said when we gain heat, that's when we could get audience.
Yep,
again?
if you could get up to 4 heat, then
At the end of the match, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, let's get up to 3 heat with the percolator.
Nice.
And I'm still in control, huh?
Yeah.
You are still in control. So
All right.
you picked him up, you twirled him around. Did you let him go, or are we still in you with him up on the shoulder?
No, we flop him around. This is something we've been working on, to where his head is hanging down. We're looking for the pile driver, and I'm waiting for the signal. Make sure he's safe. Like tap on each leg means he's safe, and then we're gonna go for it.
Please don't fuck this up.
Oh God. There we go.
That sounds like you're doing it with Heath. Then you've worked on it together. This is something y'all have been working on.
Yeah.
I think that's right.
So 3 heat. So you're rolling +3.
We see this impressive mountain of a man just throwing him around like a rag doll. Just can't get enough of it, can you, folks?
How'd you do?
13.
Oh, fantastic. Oh my gracious. This looks spectacular. And everybody is like going through the roof. You're retaining control. Now you can take that last heat or get more momentum. What you thinking? 2 momentum, 1 heat.
Taking the heat.
There you go. Up to 4. You're still in control. I'm going to ask, percolator, you got pile drive, just selling? What's it look like?
Oh yeah, hit the ground. It lets go the legs. I fall. And then I'm rolling around. Then I get up. Just showing the audience. No, give me a second, ref. Getting up off the ground. Trying to shake it off.
Goliath, what do? You gonna give him a second, or are you moving in?
I think they got the Imperial March playing again as the crowd's going nuts, and that big pile drive like really turned up the dust again. So to get above the dust, he's trying to climb up onto the ropes, and we're looking for a big old frog splash here.
A giant frog splash off the ropes. That seems like a work to me.
The plan is for the percolator to get out of the way.
Yeah, that's our hope. You have a worker -1. Let's see it, man. I love it. I love it.
Ever seen the giant go back up the beanstalk? Come on. Deal the pain.
Jefferson?
I don't know if deliberately leaving his feet is the best move here for the giant.
All right. How did you do?
Real bad.
Oh, what do we
Like-
end up with?
With 4 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Question. Are we getting a put over? That would be our last put over of the match. We only have one per each. Or are we letting that happen?
Sorry, can you just explain how the putting someone over move works? Or
What it does is it will take it up a category. A fail would become a mid would become a 10 plus success. They are really nice when you roll those, when you're doing those finishers where you don't get any add-ons. But up to you if you'd like to do it, Jefferson.
do you want to be put over, or do you want
I'll
to
pass.
transition anyway?
Yeah.
Doesn't
I'll
want it.
pass, but if you want to, you sure can.
Now
if you
I think
this
hold
is-
on to that, Jefferson, for a real
Yeah.
high point.
Yeah. So I'm going to put the option here to you, Goliath, because I think the drama's better here. Do you get injured or does the percolator?
Oh, I think I get injured.
Mm.
I don't think this arena was built with enough stability for this climb.
So I think there's a slip, like the ring itself sort of leans weird. So as you try to jump off, you can't get your feet underneath it. I think the percolator tries to move so it won't look awful, but you come down hard on your knee and you can feel a little bit of a pop as it hits. Take an injury, and Stan, you know the kid got hurt a little on that one, and it is you in control.
And I get one of his momentum, right?
That is correct.
So I'm going to steal momentum from you there, Goliath. And what I want to do is like, I want to get over and like keep him down. I like that. I change it up so that like he's like when he's still kind of down, so he doesn't have to get up yet. Like he can get a chance to lift his knee, and like I do that like grapple, like we go back and forth kind of thing there.
Test the strength.
Yeah, test the strength until I can see that maybe he's ready to stand up. You ready? You ready?
Yeah, come on, let's do it.
All right, stand up. And I like do this. I'll let him stand, and I think that's the point at which he pushes me down. And I have a move to show my vulnerability here. To show off. I'm gonna, when I show vulnerability to my opponent to make him look good, I'm gonna roll plus work.
Fantastic. Let's see it.
I'm going to spend a momentum to make it a 10.
You both get +1 audience. Oh my gracious, that is good. Ooh. And since you went to a move that wasn't a wrestling move,
right,
it's going to shift off of you. But I want to ask, as you're kind of, showing this vulnerability, losing this this test of strength, do you break out of it so that he starts from it not still being in the test of strength, or is it still in the test?
I'll let him throw me back so that I can hit against the ropes, and so he can choose how he wants to do, because I don't know how his leg's doing yet.
Gotcha. All right.
Hit the ropes. Oh, my head's spinning.
So Goliath, you've got control. The crowd is like, they are incensed. They can't believe that Goliath is treating Stan the percolator like this. So they're booing you. What are you doing?
Oh man. I think I let him wobble for a moment here, and I go over to his corner, and I grab his bulldog's leash, and I lead it over to like my little manager side, like
you've stolen the dog.
I took your dog.
Okay.
What are you gonna do about it?
Gonna get up.
So is that playing to the audience, or you think you're
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
let's have you work the audience then.
All right.
Roll in with look. So you're +1.
You'd roll the audience, wouldn't you?
Oh, I'm sorry, audience, not look, audience. Oh, and you've got a great audience.
Got a lot of audience. So I get +4 with my audience right now.
You sure
Yeah.
do.
Ooh, but still, it's good you have a +4.
Yeah.
All right, so an 8. So
I would be happy to put over you stealing the dog. That,
Oh yeah.
like, if anything is going to appeal to Jefferson's sensibilities.
what do you think? You want it now or
Unless we need it for the finisher.
Oh, I
but
think it's
now's a good time.
That's
Now's
so
a good
good. I want to
time,
hear
yeah.
Jefferson put the dog steal it over.
agreed? What's Jefferson say?
You know, this Goliath, he's got all the power and potential that you could ask for in a young wrestler. And look at this, he's got the mind for it as well. Look at him steal that dog. Dirty little rednecks, podunk kicks in this town. Haven't seen anything like this before. They're not ready.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I think the percolator like scrambles to try and get the dog as I'm moving it across the arena, and I push him back and like wag a finger.
That takes you up to gaining +2 momentum, a 10 plus. And it goes back to you, percolator.
And I'm waiting until I get the signal that the
We
the
are
guy
hitting that.
that the guy has gotten the dog out of the way.
Oh yeah.
And I think that's the time at which I'm just going to do that kind of running and throw myself spear to the midsection, try to catch and try to do the and toss him, do the shoulder toss on the giant.
Ooh, sounds like power, unless you want to argue for work.
I think this is power. This is me trying to do an old school thing that's probably outside of my skill range.
-1. Yikes.
I will spend a momentum to get that to a 7.
Very nice. All right. You can, with a 7, you can maintain control, or you can take a momentum.
Have we gotten the signal?
You are getting the signal now. Ref comes in and says,
Because I'm turning around.
Marge wants you to drop this one, Perk.
Then I think I give control to Goliath, and as I come down, I'll bring myself down with him and get laid out.
Mm.
Hand it to Goliath.
Goliath, we're going into the wrap up. What's it look like as you put the finisher on Stan the Percolator?
All right, so I need to do my finishing move to see how this goes.
Yep.
Okay. So let's see, when you're booked to win, roll 2d6. Boy, no modifiers.
You got a bunch of momentum.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. That's good. Okay. So we're 7. All right. So on a 7 to 9.
Do you have 3 momentum?
I do. They make you work for it. Choose one. You have to trap them, gain 1 heat with them. To showcase your strength, you both gain 1 momentum. On a 10 plus, I get an audience. So what happens when I've got like lots of audience?
No point for you to get that extra audience, honestly.
Yeah. So yeah, let's do the 7 to 9. I have to, you make me work for it. I have to trap you. Oh
Yeah, I think we're already
want
so
heat of
hot.
momentum.
It's fine.
yeah.
Just tell me what it looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the move?
Showcase strength. So we would gain momentum, but we're pretty good on all of that. So
What's your finisher called?
I think I'm trying to think what it would be called. I think it's just called like the Philistine or something like
Okay.
that.
Ooh.
Which is like not at all descriptive of like what it is. But I think it's like it's like a modified camel clutch submission. So we both went flopping down, but I get up first and I'm rolling over on top of you to get you in this position. And
I'm reaching for the rope. I'm reaching for the rope. Try to get to it.
and I think that's the modification is like I'm tall enough that I can actually like waddle while I'm doing this, and I walk somebody like all the way around the ring on this thing.
And then you tap. Oh, referee calls for the bell. Ding, 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 ding. I'm going to ask Goliath, are you the sort of wrestler that releases the hold when the bell rings? Are you going to keep flopping him for a while?
I think we've planned this so there's a little ramp and the dog can come running up on stage and like comes up and is like licking his face and things as I hold him in the submission. And then I let go and like raise my arms up, but like keep him down there so the dog keeps like harassing him.
Roll over on my back.
The crowd is incensed. They're throwing cups towards the ring. Penelope, what do you say?
Well, that classic style he's huge, audience. What the hell do you expect, honestly?
Jefferson, you've just seen Goliath really go over here. What do you say?
I think I say like, see, I told you, Penelope, with a little guidance from the right sort of counselor, that Goliath could be a big deal right here in this federation. And then I take one of your cigarettes and light it up.
One of Penelope's cigarettes.
Welcome to Podunk Town, kid.
Love it. As the crowd is angry at Goliath, someone comes out, helps Stan move back to the back. Marge meets you as you come through the curtain, Stan. Perk, I appreciate it. You did the job.
Okay, that's good. That's good. I hope you give me a couple of W's on this tour.
How would you like redemption against the kid? How about a long-term feud? I love that idea. You're the David.
Okay, but can we do no more dogs? Because I got to go take some Benadryl.
Oh, no more dogs. Don't
Okay.
Fuck the dogs. And as you come back, Goliath, Marge comes over and hugs you. And she's like nearly as big as you. So there's like the slamming of beef as she comes in and hugs you. That was good. That was good, kid.
I think I'm getting the hang of this. Stan's really, really good to work with.
We're going to keep you together. We're going to let him get a few wins on you so it's a little back and forth. Oh, shit.
I shout down the hallway, ice that knee.
Yeah, she's looked down at you. Oh, shit. Kid, we got to... come on. As she moves you back to look into your knee. And
This thing's swelling up something fierce.
and as the rodeo lights begin to go out and the people are starting to separate out, Lilith, your hubby and the kids come running backstage, and I think your daughter comes running up and jumps up to give you a hug as Demetrius, is that right? Demetrius, wasn't it? Says, that was impressive.
Yeah, I think she's hugging her daughter, and I think like her son is the only one who does not look convinced, and he's just like a student of wrestling. He saw the sloppiness of her execution tonight. And she takes the compliment and then like looks at her son and like, it was a trial run. I'll do better next time.
He kind of smirks and says, you couldn't do worse.
Yeah, but my worst doesn't land me in a principal's office now, does it, young man?
And I think we fade off that scene as Dr. Retro, we get a phone call coming in. Retro, call.
Comes over and takes it.
Sweetie, tell me things are going well there.
It's going pretty good. Like I got some sales. I got a big pop. the audience really dug the mist idea thing. I mean, it went well.
So you could send me something. The Camrys broke down.
Oh gosh, again. Okay. Yeah. I can. I'll throw something in the account first thing in the morning.
Take care of yourself. We miss you.
Oh, I miss y'all too. It's a long road, but like I'm getting a lot of exposure out here. A lot of people are seeing the act. A lot of people are digging it. I'm getting some sales on this stuff. Like I got rid of some of those Bigfoot things we picked up.
Oh,
So
thank God. I've got 7 boxes still in the garage.
yeah, I'm hoping we'll make our way back up to back out west at some point because those things sell way better out there. Like here, I'm trying to I don't know what to do. I don't know what the locals out here do with this stuff. Florida didn't go with them. I thought surely Florida would buy into it, but no.
I love you, baby.
I love you too. Give the kids my love. I'll get that money in the account first thing in the morning. Okay.
Thanks. And Jefferson, Marge comes over and says, "You're good on the table, kid. You're proven to be a surprise to me."
Yeah, he blushes a little. Well, thank you, Marge. Appreciate it. I'm just happy to be part of the show.
My nephew and I could use somebody with your talents. We'll
Yeah.
talk. And that's where we're going to close tonight's session of Gauntlet League Wrestling. If we got about 10 minutes, why don't we do a quick stars and wishes if folks don't mind?
Should we adjust our? Do you want to figure out the top of the card and the audience and stuff?
Yeah, let's go ahead and hit that. That's a very good idea.
Okay.
So everyone who had 4 in the match you ended, I know I did the first match, and I think we had that move up to audience. Goliath, you are now at the top of the card. You are our hot wrestler. How did you do, Perk?
Well, with the Goliath, I will also hit 4 audience.
Take your audience up as well. What's that get you to? 4?
4.
You are also at the top of our promotion, and I would say we have a hot feud to start traveling this circuit with. Oh, I love it. Lilith, you're pretty close to hitting with Dr. Retro.
Yes, but I am not yet quite there. I am still just my starting 2 audience.
We'll see that probably scoot up next time around. And like I say, Retro, I think you got your 4, so you got your boost, and you're at audience 3 now. Excellent. All right, so that means Goliath and Percolator, you both will get an advance.
Oh.
Because you are at 4. We will have a cool off for anyone who first session, we're not going to drop any heat today because we might want to mix up some of the matches. I think we'll keep our heat stuck where we are. Normally, it would be if you didn't wrestle with someone or interact with them on the show, you would drop your heat by 1. But since we're starting, I think we'll keep it with that. All righty. So we're going to do stars and wishes, but if folks don't mind, I'm going to take literally 1 minute to run to the restroom and be right back. All right, so we're going to do stars and wishes. Stars, things you enjoyed in the game, things you enjoyed from your fellow wrestlers, and wishes are things that you'd like to see for your character in the game. Let's just go ahead and do stars and wishes together. So I'm going to come down the character keeper order. So starts with you, Chris. Tell us any stars and wishes.
I mean, the stars all around. I really enjoyed the matches and the interactions tonight. I especially highlight like Shane picking up the secret formula shtick and running with it. Like I love that. I thought that was super great. And I also really got a kick out of Goliath and the Percolators interactions during the match and how they were working on setting those things up. Those just worked out really well. And I appreciate Ferret like putting up with my ridiculous drunken wrestling style antics in the match. I like to I've been wanting to try somebody out by doing that, and I appreciated you working that stuff in with me. That was fun.
Any wishes?
I mean, I know it's cheap, but like more of all of this. Like I kind of want to see the card mix up a little bit and like see, have us playing off each other and maybe get a chance to do a few more like backstage scenes that aren't kayfabe scenes, like a little bit of actual like chatting backstage with everybody.
Cool. Thank you very, very much. Next up on our list, Lowell, stars and wishes, please.
Wow, that was so a good setup, Tyler. I like everything that you put together. The clown is always really a challenging role because it can go too much over, but I think it feels like you hit that right balance. I adore where Lilith is going to go. Like I'm very excited to see that the background questions and the things you set up and the family stuff. I'm there for that. Goliath, I love you working into the Marge thing and playing off of that sort of noviceness was really good. And so I think that the manager is the hardest playbook in the game. I honestly do. We had the Padishah of wrestling before. That's the only other manager we've seen. And even he had a hard time, balancing it and getting time at the table and things like that. You knocked it out of the park, Shane. Just absolutely. A good setup at the start. You found your space at the start of the match. You got to use your moves. You did that. And then on the table, you were great. Just absolutely great. So kudos all around. So I've played Worldwide Wrestling once as a player, and that was at a table of like 10 people at Origins. So I got like a match. So it is a pleasure to have a chance to play. Now, that being said, here's what goes to my wishes. If I get too loud or I go too big, please tell me, because I will go big and loud because I don't get as much of a chance to do that when I'm GMing this. So if you need me to dial it down, please tell me, because otherwise I'll go really big. So that's my wish. Oh, there's another thing as a star. I love the sidebar stuff. Lovely observations from Lilith, from Goliath. Like that was fun to have that going by. For those of you at home, there's a little chat bar, and they're saying all kinds of great things and adding details to the scene. So this was everything I wanted.
Yay.
So,
thank you very, very much. I'll say for me, this is a game to go as far over the top. So I loved the percolator, and the chat is it makes it feel like you're at the table together. And that's a lovely thing. And it's not something we get to share with people watching, which in its way is sort of good. It's a little bit of just for the players. Awesome. Thank you very much, Lowell. Next up, Ferret. Any stars and wishes?
Yes. Again, Chris, I'll echo what other people said. Like the clown is probably my favorite Worldwide Wrestling playbook, and I have done it a few times, and it is always a challenge to not only it's like to hog the spotlight, but to share it as well. And I really loved like the drunken wrestling kind of stuff that was done. Just like I was like, Lilith wants to take this match seriously. You did not. And it was beautiful. Goliath played into the kind of bittersweetness of you're built for this job, but you're also built for this job without going completely into the himbo aspect or a over the top aspect. It feels grounded, and I want to see where it goes. Stan is incredibly entertaining, and seems like he's going to make a great mentor. And I want to see how our relationship either grows or breaks apart. And Shane, as everyone said, you are a great match. I am so glad you and I are paired up in this massive world. For now, we may split up as things go down, as you get a different stable. And Tyler, you got spotlight all around, expert emceeing, facilitating, whatever. Mwah. And my wishes are the Gauntlet best of more, more backs, like what everyone said. Just everyone said good things so far. Just more of everything.
Thank you very, very much. Next up, Shane. Any stars or wishes?
Yeah, I had a great time. Thanks, everyone. That was awesome. First star has to go to the first and greatest star in my stable. Thank you very much, Ferret, for working with me. Chris, thanks for setting up the secret formula and then just letting me steal it from you and go as wild as I could with it. That was really fun. Lol, I have to give you a star for singing your own theme song. That was an amazing detail. I got to think about. Well, I don't know if Jefferson will ever have his own entrance, but we'll think about what the song would be. And David, my star for you has to be your commentary was so good. I think you should legitimately consider a job in wrestling commentary. I would pay to hear that. And Tyler, of course, thank you for scheduling this game. I'm so excited that I got to play it, and I just loved your energy as a GM. It's so infectious and wonderful. My wish, I do have a wish when I saw that there was a manager playbook, probably not for like next week, but sometime in this series, I would love to be booked in a manager in a shark cage over the ring match.
Absolutely. And thank you very, very much. I so see that, yes. And to finish us out, David, stars and wishes?
Yeah, stars all around for the energy that everybody was bringing, because that's so important to this game, to get that high energy feeling, right? And I think like big stars to Tyler for demonstrating that. As soon as we got here, it was like, right here, we're like basically cutting a promo before we even got the game going for what the game is, and that got all of us in the right headspace and like on the right page of like, this is what we're doing. We're high energy. And it made it a lot easier and kind of gave permission to have that kind of energy as an announcer. And I think that's another star, is just like how much fun in this system it is to be an announcer, to be a player of somebody who's not your character and is just observing what is happening in the action, but also like getting that extra little bit of permission or responsibility to put somebody over the top. That's a really fun aspect. And I loved announcing with Lowell's character to kind of have that straight man, funny man back and forth. That was a lot of fun. We kind of had a similar thing with our other two announcers. They were a little bit more antagonistic of each other, which was fun. I loved everybody's wrestlers. Oh my gosh, it was so much fun. The first match with the gimmick of this little vial and trying to hide it and not letting the ref see it. But it's been broadcast. It's been promised something's going to happen with this vial, but it was like a twist what happened with it. And the manager got into it and got involved and was kind of handling that vial, and then ended up creating the mist. That was great. That was a great scene. That was so much fun. And like props to Shane for being willing to try out the manager role, because I agree. I think it is a tough one, but I'm so excited that we have a manager because it's so cool when you do. It's a different aspect to this game that you don't get if everybody's a straight up normal wrestler of some variety. I loved how the two of y'all, or all three of y'all, were really sharing the spotlight of what was happening in that match, and how you would kind of play with each other's characters and describe what was happening with them and how they were working with one another to create the look of the fiction of what's happening in the arena, even though like the realities may be different than that, as like revealed when the ref kind of announces to them or lets them know like who's supposed to win. So I thought all of that was so wonderful. And then it was great to work with Lowell to kind of do a similar thing, but we had kind of a conversation back and forth. You'd ask me questions like, what do you think? Like, do you think Goliath is doing that? How is he setting that up? I thought that was a lot of fun. So those are all my stars. I hope that we can get more of this story of Hank Miller trying to like learn from the other folks. It might turn into the story of how he's kind of, the picked guy because he's got family in the business and there's nepotism. I'm not sure, but I'm curious to see that offstage story unfold and to see more offstage stories of other characters unfold with like their families, depending on what town we're in. Because I really enjoyed that small part of the side story, what we were getting today with they're in the audience, but they're not in the front row of the audience because they know this is like a whole thing. They're in school and they're getting in trouble because they're acting out. And then just that last like couple lines at the very end, that's like, yeah, but my worst doesn't land me in the principal's office. What about that? Like, I think it's really interesting. I want to know more about that.
Thank you very, very much, David. And I will hit real quick. David and Lowell, your match was so perfect in my mind of how I love when WW works. It is a work. The wrestlers in the ring doing it together, and y'all worked that so nicely. The injury was perfect. I love, David, that you took it yourself. That was pure perfection of what I like to see in a WWW match. Shane, you are killing it. I love this manager. Love it. And I think there's going to be such a nice string out of that story. I'm really looking forward to it. Ferret, I adore you in everything you do, and yet again, you are brilliant. This character's phenomenal. You created a wonderful family thing for me to play with. Your in-ring presence is so good. The match was fantastic. Adored it. So happy with it. And Chris, you're such a professional at you played this game so well. You brought a character and have really made it full formed. And I want to develop more how we see Retro. I like that you're playing with me on the family stuff. It was perfection. It was so good. My wish is I do want to make sure we have the stuff and politics in the back room, because I am playing a little with that idea of Marge is wanting to take care of the nephew. And we've got, the potential for Jefferson to blow up as a big time man, a Jim Croc or a Jim Cornette, or one of these big managers who could be a personality all their own sort of thing. So I'm really wanting to see that backstage stuff happen. Thank you all for playing. This has been a delight. We have 5 sessions. I think most of us are in the vast majority of them. We'll have great arcs for all of these characters. We have a few people coming in as we go. Folks at home, I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, then watch more.